Today we're up at Richmond Station in the northern extremes of BART, and in true Jeff Marshall spirit, let's go take a ride up and down the system, finding some secrets that you might have missed. Now Richmond is quite an eventful station. Not only is it the terminus of two BART lines, but it's also one of only two places where BART and Amtrak come together at the same station. So sticking to the BART side, it's got these weird double-barreled fare gates, as well as a mosaic that has received a decent amount of criticism. There's been some kind of railway station here ever since 1878, but even still it was rebuilt several times, with this iteration being completed in 2007. Come outside and you'll see yet more artwork. Here a mural that reflects Richmond's history. This station was designed to be some kind of major transit center, but while there are plenty of bus routes here, they aren't all that frequent. As you leave Richmond, look out the window and see a parking deck for double-decker AC Transit tramway buses. Actually no, it's downtown Berkeley, where there's a strange typo on the display screen. Can you see it? At the concourse level though, you might wonder what the deal with this entrance is. Well, it used to be a large rotunda structure. It certainly obstructed what was a very busy sidewalk, and when the structure was demolished, they widened the sidewalk, and now the area is commonly used for all sorts of events. Next up, here at 12th Street Oakland City Center. Do you see that red light in the distance? That's another train at 19th Street Oakland. That's how close the stations are to each other. They are indeed the two closest stations anywhere on BART, with 12th Street's north exit at 14th Street and 19th Street's south exit at 17th Street. That's a distance of under 1,000 feet apart. Continuing south, we got off at Lake Merritt, the hub of all things BART, as Operation Control is very nearby. But this is also where you can collect pre-ordered BART merch, see a timeline of the network's history, and even for a limited time buy a special edition 50-year anniversary Clipper card. All that aside, this is still a pretty cool station. It was the first to get the new generation display screens. It has plenty of mosaic tile work by Alfonso Pardinias. It's definitely a much better transfer point than Bayfair. Next up, there's even more for the bus fans. Just as you pull into Coliseum, you'll see this huge AC Transit parking lot where you can spot all kinds of buses resting. As we go through suburbs, most stations here aren't too exciting, but here at South Hayward, there's this footbridge above the platform. Go up and you'll get some cool shots of trains coming in and out. Speaking of views, here's one you definitely don't want to miss between Union City and Fremont. It's the Quarry Lakes Recreational Park, which looks stunning. You can also come down to the park and see where the trains pass. Until 2017, this line ended at Fremont, and the biggest clue for that is how at the platforms at Fremont, you won't see those little signs to tell you which platforms for which direction. All you get is the display screens.
Two-door OAK airport Richmond train all boarding platform 2.
And now onto the extension project. Here at Warm Springs, there seems to be an imposter in the room. Normally display screens have red text, right? Well, it seems like this one hasn't quite gotten the memo. Next up at Milpitas, this station has gained a lot of praise for both its overbuilt architecture and its dominating stained glass windows. They're meant to represent the diversity of the area. Meanwhile, at platform level, artist Amy Trachtenberg overlaid these pillars with ceramic tiles which are meant to symbolize the language groups spoken in the Bay Area, as well as some chip designs because Silicon Valley. I'm also a huge fan of the archways, as they add a lot more depth to the station platforms. And finally, it's time for Berryessa Station, which initially was just going to be called that, but the North San Jose bit was added upon request by the council to make visitors feel like they've arrived in the city. But when you look around, it definitely doesn't feel like it quite yet. But while we're here, you must admire even more art. This is called Life by Larry Kirkland, and draws inspiration from the nearby San Jose flea market. Turning back towards San Francisco now, but not before a quick detour down the windy mountainous blue line to its final stop, Dublin Pleasanton. This station really taps into its Twin City identity, with one exit simply being labeled City of Dublin, and the other one, you guessed it, City of Pleasanton. I found that kind of funny. The main aesthetic at the station is the wave, which you can see here in the walls below the 580, this small little archway, and of course the station roof. They're meant to symbolize sound waves generated by BART trains' electric propulsion. Outside the station, we see one of BART's first ever examples of transit-oriented development. But don't miss this pillar and archway entrance. One more thing here, some signs that still call the station east of Pleasanton, which was the actual name of the station for a brief period. Okay, now we're actually going to San Francisco. Here at Embarcadero is the most used station anywhere on BART by most accounts. Head up this escalator at the back though, you'll get a cool view of the Muni Metro platforms. Next up, another display bug here at Powell Street. But that's not all to see here, as if you've ever been through the station, you've definitely noticed the hexagonal tiles with the little 3D bubbles on top. These tiles are considered to be a, quote, premium material for a premium station, and so loved are they that you can even see them in the ceiling artwork. Now Montgomery Street has these tiles too, and that's no coincidence, as both stations were designed by the same architect. In fact, it was quite common for the oldest BART stations to have been designed in pairs, such as 12th to 19th Streets in Oakland, here it's 16th and 24th Streets in the Mission District, as well as Glen Park and Balboa Park. Speaking of Glen Park, here we are. Not the most eventful of stations, but it's certainly known for its realist architecture, and it even got nominated for a listing on the National Register of Historic Places. But there's more outside as well. Come around the corner and you'll see the school BART emblazoned compass. Next up, when Colma opened, it was the southern terminus of BART, which is probably why it has 3 platforms. But when it was extended to the airport, the third platform suddenly became obsolete. And now it sits completely abandoned. Notice how the escalators are covered up, and you can also see where a display screen used to be, but isn't anymore. And while sometimes you'll see trains parked at the ghost platform, I don't think a train in service will ever call there again. And now for a speed run through the Yellow Line. We're here at Rockbridge. You can't help but admire these really cool lamps on the escalator, as well as this fairy gate design, which might be a standard on BART before long. Here at Pleasant Hill, you'll find the tallest parking garage anywhere on BART. And last, but unfortunately in this context least, and here we are, welcome to the least used mainline BART station, and once you're here you can really see why. There's an awful lot of nothing around the station, and it's so far away from the actual town of Martinez that the station is named for. But there we go, that is Secrets of the BART. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new. Once again, a huge thank you to Jeff Marshall for the inspiration for this concept, as well as just being an amazing YouTuber all around. And as Jeff would say in his own Secrets videos, I'm gonna get the train home.